Hello?
Bill, how are you?
Hey, what are you doing? Sorry, I think I'm a little late. It took me a minute or two to get this Zoom thing. I'm relatively new to Zoom. Hell, I'm relatively new to the telephone.
Oh my God.
I mean, I keep saying,
So
well,
happy.
how are you tech-wise? Well, I still like the two orange juice cans and a long piece of string, you know?
I still communicate like that with my kids.
Tell me about it. Hey, are you kidding? My kid is the guy that loaded Zoom into the machine. I'm just so not good at it, you know.
Yeah, I
So
get you.
what's going on? What's happening?
What's up? I can't see your video.
Oh, let me see. Oh, let me hit start video.
There it is. My man,
There
look
we
at you.
go. Okay, there we go. All right. Hey, I think I still got a chance of winning the 2020 Bedhead Open.
Uh, uh,
Count on it.
well, I did my hair for this one, so I spiked it.
I hear you. Yeah, like I say, I'm not all that good at this stuff, but I think we're here now. I think it looks like we're
Yeah,
working.
look good. All right, let me close this out. Well, let's go. Let's ready to roll. I was so nervous right now, Bill. You don't even know. I've had such a wild past 3 days. When I sent the invite, it said 11 p.m. and I had to go inside and I thought maybe that caused some conflict with the Zoom.
No,
So I was
I was
stressing.
fine with it. I just, you know, somebody, my wife actually had to tell me. Says there's this whole long thing of what the code is, and then Tamara says, I think you just need the number. So I just put in the number and went, oh, it'll take numbers, you know, because I was going, I don't know how to make this work, but it's working now. So I'll forget tomorrow, but for today we're on. What the hell? We're happening.
Well, I'm so happy and so glad that I'm having a little bit of time with you and to talk about your new single and your new album and your new adventures in life. It's exciting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, digging it. You know?
Awesome.
I'm actually. It's funny since I finished the actual music and got it mixed and got it mastered and got it all happening, and then I actually started working on the credits, on the album cover and everything. I went, here's the grunt work of making albums. I'm very, very comfortable doing the music, but you know, all the rest of the stuff is like, how do I do this? So I'm actually kind of a one-trick pony in some sort of ways. You
That's
know?
awesome, though. You know what I mean? You don't, you're going out there and just muscling through, man. Grab the bull by the horns and get it.
Yeah, yeah, trying to make it work. I think the move is a lot of you know, especially since the whole virus thing and the lockdowns and all the rest of it, sort of give me an awful lot of time at home. So why not do a new album?
How
What the
is
hell?
your?
I got a Pro Tools rig. Why don't I just go use it? So that got me through a good portion of this whole California lockdown. Now, where are you located?
I'm in Ventura.
Oh,
I'm right down the road.
yeah, I could
Where
throw
are
a
you?
rock on my way up to Santa Barbara.
Are
Hit your
you? Are you
house.
are you in Santa Barbara?
No. We kind of go back and forth. We've had some like vacation kind of pads in Summerland numerous times. We're in the
Oh,
process of getting another one
yeah.
now. So and we usually rent it out. But Tamara really loves Santa Barbara. I went to Montecito Union School when I was in third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and sixth. You know, or no, it was fourth, fifth, and sixth, and then I moved back up to Marin County,
That's
uh,
that's
up
awesome.
above San Francisco.
I'm a radio guy originally,
Yeah.
and my first radio gig was UCSB on campus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so um,
That's Goleta. When I was a little kid, Goleta had a population of 30,
damn.
and then they put the school in, you know, and Isla Vista and all that. They put the school in, and boom, here's you. I got your population right here. You know.
And it's so beautiful in Santa Barbara. I love it. Like that's where I feel
Oh,
my soul belongs because it's so soothing to be
yeah.
spiritually.
I keep going back to it. I mean, I moved from Santa Barbara right after sixth grade. I moved up to Marin County, And Marin County has its own beauty too. I mean, it's got Mount Tamalpais, it's got the beaches around out on the other side. Water, a little cold to swim in, but not as opposed to Santa Barbara. And but those, for me, those are the two places in California that are really just blessed. You know, Santa Barbara and you know, Mill Valley and Drake's Bay and all, you know, Point Reyes, Inverness, all that area up there is just, you know, and I lived in all of them at one different time or another.
Have you ever been to Knapp's Castle in
Who?
Santa Barbara? Knapp's Castle?
No, what is that?
It's an abandoned castle that was, I want to say, abandoned in the early 1900s. And it's still alive and thriving. I mean, it's broken down. It's tore horribly, like, but it's just a nice place. Maybe a cool album cover one day. It's in Santa Barbara. I just wondering, you might have been there.
Yeah, we'll check that out immediately. I think Tamara and I's anniversary is on Sunday, so we're gonna maybe go up to Santa Barbara for Sunday and Monday, just because, hey, it's just really pretty there. And I'll, you know, first thing I'll do is look for Knapp's Castle. Is it Knapps?
Yep, Knapp's.
Yeah.
And then there's also
I'll look for that. That's cool. One I never knew about.
Coldwater Springs Tavern.
I don't know that.
It's in Santa Barbara too. It's one of the, you know, it's out of the way. It's a nice little tavern that you can eat outside. It's like a nook and cranny place, and they have real good food there. So if you ever, you know, it's your anniversary, maybe you guys want to try that.
It's Coldwater
Springs.
It's called Coldwater. What is it name?
Coldwater Springs Tavern.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Yeah, there's awesome places.
You know what? I'm gonna write it down. Like my mom says, that's my paper brain.
Oh my goodness. So
Knapp's Castle?
How has your quarantine been? Besides, you know, take me through the beginning in March and the decision for you to make an album. Like, how does that come about?
Well, I think that had a lot to do with the decision to make the album. You know, I've got a Pro Tools rig here that I've been working on. We did an album with Tamara and myself and Gary Falcone a little while back. It's called Wonderground, WUNDER ground. You know, and you know, we did an album. So I kind of got my production chops up doing that. And then at some point while we were, you know, Tamara came back from the store or something, and I just finished writing this kind of little, almost bluesy thing in a way. Not really bluesy, but sort of a, you know, kind of laid back, not full production kind of song. And she said, Bill, it's time for you to, you know, the title of that song was Living for Love. She said, it's time for you to do a solo album. Time for you to do a solo album. Simple as that. And I think, you know, a lot of people came to the same conclusion. If I got to be home, might as well go to work.
Yeah.
And, you know, start painting, you know. So, I mean, I just kind of started working, and it kept me from getting too crazed, you know, too pissed off that I can't go anywhere. You know what I mean? We don't want to do that. So, you know, I mean, I always tell people, I said, man, 2021 is going to have more albums than there were babies 9 months after the New York blackout. It's sort of this pandemic thing just caused a lot of music to get made by people that know how to make it. People that have, especially people that have studios in their house. You know, you can't go here. I'm going to call in a session for, you know, 8 guys to be in the same studio. They won't let you do it.
Yeah.
So you know, you kind of do it however you can. You make it work. You know.
What was your?
You know, I want to when I record, I kind of use fake drums, you know, and get the groove the way I want it.
Yeah.
And then have real drummers go in and replace it, because the fake drums are just fake drums. It just ain't working. So I mean, I got one song with Vinnie Colaiuto on it. I got a couple songs with Gordon Campbell, and I got Alan Hertz.
Hey.
Who to play on a lot of. Alan plays with the Suns whenever the Suns play, and he's also one of the best Pro Tools mixers ever. So I go over and put drums on and just leave it there, and he starts mixing. And he mixed great on this record. He just kicked it beautifully. He's
great.
Very, very talented young man.
Um, when you, okay, I'm sorry. I had a question on deck and then it just slipped my mind. Sorry. So when you're creating, right, and where was your heart and soul at while creating this album? Like in what state?
I'd read something before this all came down, and it said, and I can't remember, somebody came up with it, and I just took the quote to heart, and it said, if it's not personal, it's not art. So lyrically, I was very, very careful to try to make it personal without saying, well, I went to the store this morning, I mean, to try to really say something that touches people, and then to try to sing it as a lead singer rather than a background singer. Because sometimes I have a tendency, I've done so many background dates over the years, I get a little mathematical about how I sing, until I go, wait a minute, you're singing lead now. You don't need to be, you don't need to make it perfect. And I got to end the word at on beat 4. All of those are tricks that you do in background, so that if you start stacking it up, putting voice on top of voice on top of voice, where the word ends. Real important. Otherwise, you'll have, the words, say for instance, the word sauce, it'll be sauce. You got to make sure everybody hits the S on the end, We have an S battle. So, but I just kind of really wanted to try to make this really a personal thing, and to let people in, and to try to have people come in. So even the lyrics that are, kind of traditional "baby, you left me" kind of lyrics, which is, it's a tradition. It's a sort of it comes from a blues thing and R&B thing. Even those have a personal thing about them. It's a cool album, a very, very cool record. It's just really different. I mean, everybody that played on it went, "Wow, this thing's going to be cool," and it's not like it's jazz or anything like that. It's a pop record, but I go and I always take it. Yeah, okay, it's pop, but pop meaning popular, meaning accessible. It's not. I'm not trying to play over anybody's heads, but I like to move around a little bit and throw a surprise in here and there.
Do you adhere to the typical pop rules in this album?
No.
Like 3 minutes or under? No? Okay. Nice.
Rules? Oh, no, he said the R word. This is me, Bill. Rules?
That's exactly why when you throw the P word out there, I'm going to ask that question.
No, there are certain rules you kind of say. I mean, I really like to have some point of the song where it's a quote mark. Usually it's where the title goes. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, but usually, and no matter how musical it is, at some point of the game, bam, here's your chorus. Big quote mark, big sign saying you're here now. So no matter what moves you take to get there, once you're there, it's like, oh, you're here in a chorus, And I always look at the chorus as, a lot of times that's sort of the moral of the story at the chorus, you know what I mean? Lyrically, anyway.
Yeah. What is the biggest difference in creating for you, in your youth compared to now? And what are some lessons that you might have learned along the way?
Well, I mean, I've like for instance, when I lived in Marin County and I had a group called Sons, and the Sons were, I was pretty much the writer in that, and I was really, really leaned toward R&B kind of feel in all of the songs. When I moved down here, in order to just make the rent, I started taking vocal dates, doing background vocals. And I did a lot of them. And in order for me to sing, I gotta like what I'm doing. And I came down and at the time the Eagles were screaming. They were just off and running. And a lot of the records that I was doing were using those kind of vocals, hard R's, a little bit country-ish sort of feel. The California country, like what somebody called the Malibu Mafia, so I had to learn how to find something about it that I liked. And I did. I said, man, these vocals are great. Those guys, their ensemble stuff has always been stellar, just beautiful vocals. And, I kind of learned even when I was living up there, when I heard the first Crosby, Stills and Nash record, I just went, "Oh, these vocals are great. This isn't James Brown by any means." So I mean, I had to kind of open my mind to different kinds of music because there was a lot of really cool stuff going out there. You know, I mean, I didn't really dig the Beatles that much at the beginning. So I started listening to some of their songs and went, "Wow, these guys are creative." Plus, their bass player is ridiculous. Great, great bass player. McCartney can play, man.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever heard him play a wrong note on anything. You know, he's bad to the bone.
that's nice. All right, let me see. Okay, you've said in the past that you don't get paid to play, you get paid to travel.
Exactly.
What is the best place and food that you've ever experienced on a travel?
The best place in food?
Yes. It doesn't have to be the same place. Just a
Hey,
best
you know,
place
at
to
one
look.
point of the game, with Chicago, we were hitting the same cities once a year. And after a while, I wasn't calling, like, for instance, Indianapolis. I wasn't calling it Indianapolis. I was calling it St. Elmo's Fire or St. Elmo's Steakhouse, and then Murray Steakhouse in Minneapolis. And you know, after a while, you go, you know, there was Carmine's in Chicago. I didn't even say the name of the city. I just said the name of the restaurant I know I'm going to, which is pretty cool. At one point, we were talking, me and Jim Pankow and Walt Parazader, and actually our road manager at the time, Jack Gowdy, we would, you know, any days off, we'd all go try to find a really decent restaurant. At one point, we were talking about trying to get you know, like in a food section of the newspaper, like, "Hey, what's on the road? This is us guys on the road. This is where we eat. This is how good the food is. This is the chef's name." And it never happened, but it seemed like an idea, you know.
It's a
But
great idea.
I mean, yeah, it really made a lot of sense since you're going to be out there anyway. You might as well, and you're going to be going to pretty good restaurants all the way, you know, all the way across the country. It'd be great for people at home to know if you're going there, this is a good place to go. But I think now that's already covered with diners, drive-ins, and dives.
I have the app.
Huh?
I have the app.
You got the app?
Yes. Me and my family. There's a place in Santa Barbara.
Couple of places right next door to each other.
Yep. The pastrami place, right?
Yeah. Tried one. I'm going to try the other one next time. You know, probably this week, along with Coldwater Springs Tavern. You know, we're going to cover it. You know.
Yeah. So the best food you ever eaten?
Well,
or diner?
God, it's hard. You know, I'd say Murray's Steakhouse. The Murray Steakhouse in Minneapolis maybe is it really got my attention. It was really good. That place was great. It's been there for probably close to 100 years.
Is it the way they cook the steak or everything around?
Well, they have the filet mignon basically, and then they have the New York, and that's swinging too. It was great, just a great old restaurant. Now they have a lot of other restaurants there. I don't know how cool Minneapolis is at this point, or whether Murray's is even still there, but I sure loved it. The maybe 30 or 40 times I went there. You know, beautiful, beautiful meal. You know.
What about road meals that you guys
and then as far as cities, are concerned, I always like playing in New York.
New York.
You know,
good energy.
Yeah, we did the I think we did the Beacon once or twice, and we did Radio City Music Hall a couple of times, and we did Madison Square Garden once or twice.
Oh my God!
So and
the Garden, huh?
It used to be a fun town. I don't know what's going on now. I hear stories of how they're shutting down virtually everything. So I don't even know where that's at. You know, I really haven't until all of this craziness, this virus thing, and the vaccine is in use, and everybody got a shot at it, and this thing is over. It's hard to say what is anything. Plus, all rioting and all the other craziness. I mean, certain places you just don't want to go. You know, Portland, Oregon. I don't really have any desire to go there right now. I hate to say it, my favorite city in the world was San Francisco, but it's just so nuts right at the moment. It's just kind of crazy.
I mean, our whole state right now is pretty crazy with the homeless. Is I go to LA, not now, but I was going to LA once or twice or once a week. And no
Yeah.
matter what exit you exit, underneath the on-ramp, there's a city of homeless. And I'm not really insensitive to their situations as much as I'm like, we as a society, we can't just blame one person or our government, but we all have to do something about it.
Yeah. It's funny when George Carlin had a really great thing. He says,
I
I
know,
was just
George.
hearing so much about. There's a guy who used the English language as a weapon of mass destruction. You know what I mean? George was a funny guy. He says, well, I was thinking about, what do we do about the homeless situation? And so obviously this is new, this homeless thing. But he said, then I was flying across the country and I saw all these golf courses and I went, well, there's your answer right there. He said,
Uh,
it seemed that there was it's the way to fix it is right there, but I don't know whether the golfers are going to be particularly happy about giving up their 18 holes, but there you go. It's George Carlin. It was one funny man.
he is a beautiful man. Um,
Yeah.
Take me through your single Reason to Believe. Where were you mentally when you were making that song? And what does it mean to you?
Well, it was written by Bruce Gaich, who is, just the track itself and the progression, and he played guitar on it, and he found it in his stash. Bruce has had a lot of problems, medical problems, has been kind of unable to play for the last few years, well, last year maybe, and so he found one in his stash, and he sent it to me and Tamara, just a MP3, and we listened to it and went, oh my God, pencil, paper, let's do this right now. And I was thinking along the lines of, Bruce had some pretty serious medical issues come down over the last couple of years. I had a handful of, medical issues coming down through that. And our respective wives, Janie for Bruce and Tamara for me, really helped us through some pretty ugly times, and it was, I had cancer. It was not fun. I wasn't digging it at all. It was a prostate cancer situation. And if Tamara wasn't there, I'd have probably just said, don't bother with it. I'll just let it take me out. I don't care. And she kept my head above the foxhole, as it were, and I think the same thing happened with Bruce. If it wasn't for Janie, he'd have probably just let it all slide. But and they were, it's the song's really probably more about gratitude than it is anything else, really, at least lyrically. And Tamara and I wrote it together, but we were thinking about these situations, and there's, it's just a thank you for keeping me alive kind of song,
Yeah.
a little bit, I mean, I mask a lot of lyrics so that people that don't know what the story is could still dig the song.
Yeah.
There's another song on the album called Another Lies, basically about my son who passed away. And a lot of times when somebody passes away, the memory of them is that they were angels, and I'm just not buying that. That's not going to happen. There's some reality about it, and I wrote that. And anybody who hears it says it's a really great ballad. It's beautiful. That's great. I'm not bad. I mean, it's a power ballad. It really gets up and goes. But and if anybody knows the story, they just tear up right away. It's like, so I mean, I think in the whole album, in a lot of ways, I mean, it's like what I was saying. What I learned was that if it isn't personal, it isn't art. So on this record, instead of just trying to write, cute pop songs that people can relate to, I want to try to put some stuff in there, and put some of myself in it. And that's kind of what I think I ended up getting. And Reason to Believe was one of those that just, it was really a song about gratitude.
You said something just right now. You said
it's powerful piece of music too.
You said that I was just going to let it go. I was going to let it take me out. That is, to me, that's bravery, and it shows that you're not afraid of death. What makes you personally not afraid to go? Or what thought, or what's your North Star? And as far as
I'm really not young. I'm not young, but I listen to myself back every time anybody hears me, they go, man, you sound like a kid, you know?
Yeah.
I think probably, I've got children and grandchildren. Tamara and we actually our 39th anniversary is this coming Sunday.
It's beautiful.
I've got people who love me and whom I love. And there's moments where I just go, I'm sick of a lot of this shit that we have to deal with. Just the world the way it is right now is not a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just looking to point the finger, to blame everybody for everybody else for everything.
Yes.
And it's not a fun thing. I mean, a friend of mine calls Facebook hate book. It's pretty
Is
good.
it anything else but hate?
And, yeah, everybody's, oh man, Trump's an asshole. Oh man, Biden's an asshole. I mean, God, give me a break. This stuff's been going on forever. Why is everybody just, ready to kill somebody over it? So forget about it. I mean, whatever it is, it's going to be what it is. And that's how it goes, A friend of mine says, man, all I want to do is smoke dope and play guitar. I said, well, that was kind of me in the 60s. It looks like it's getting to be me.
I can hang out with him.
Hey, it's my guitar player and my closest friend. And I really believe in him. So man, that's probably the right way to go. There's no answers. There's a lot of things, and a lot of people have it, especially with this lockdown and everything. I mean, you talk about it, but there's a lot of people that are just giving up. They're just done, had enough. Suicide rate in the United States has gone boom. It's way up. Now, I don't want to do that.
And what's the? I mean, in regards to the quarantine, I mean, we're talking. I'm estimating maybe 70 to 80% of all small businesses will not make it out of this. And that's another reason for that, people have worked their whole lives for something that's about to get destroyed. Not that I'm saying it's the right way. That's not the right way at all. Just sad.
Well, they've found out in a lot of different places that a lot of the things that we're doing to try to slow down the spiking, to slow down the spiking of coronavirus, don't really slow anything down.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that we're doing to try to stop the spread aren't really stopping anything. And I think a lot of it is at this point, it started off, and believe me, I know there's a virus, and I know it's no fun. Christopher Cross damn near killed him, and he's walking around on canes right now. He got really hurt getting it, and
I got it.
As a friend.
I was affected.
So there's a reality to it, but I think a lot of what we're doing to try to keep it from spreading isn't really stopping the spread.
That's exactly.
And I know they're saying, well, there's all the ICUs in California are packed. I know people who work at Cedars, and they say we have 2 COVID cases in the hospital, 2. And this is ICUs are filled up. It's all back up and running again. So I think it's become a little bit of a political tool.
And immediate clickbait.
I don't think it might not have started that way, and it doesn't mean that it's not dangerous, but it's really being used for a lot of reasons other than, I mean, it's just hard to, I stopped watching the news. I'm about where Carmen is. I'm about ready to just smoke dope and play guitar. So, I mean, I've always been kind of, especially since about 9/11, I've always been kind of very interested in keeping up with the news and seeing what's going on. And it ain't news, it's opinion. It's all the news stations. It's their opinion. It had nothing to do with the news. So, I always find myself, if I want to know what's going on, check out BBC.
Yes, dude.
Because you're not gonna find out the reality in the United States.
I definitely I agree with everything you said, man. That's awesome. I feel a little bit like, oh, maybe I'm not crazy. Another person. I'm afraid to talk about it because I don't want my magazine called canceled. You know what I mean?
That's California is just turned it into USSR. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And this is not what we're about. We're really a loving nationality of people.
Yes.
And that's what we are naturally, and everybody's just so angry at everything all the time. It's like, hold it, everybody, come back a little bit. I got a song on the record this is, you know, I mean, I see all these people rioting and stuff, and I went, what kind of music are they listening to? Well, they're listening to some guy yelling really loud. So they're out on the streets yelling really loud. Maybe it's time to go listen to a couple of really classic Stevie Wonder songs and see if it'll bring you back to normal, or Marvin Gaye or something. You know, I mean, I think the music is kind of, I mean, I took a humanities class in high school one time, and my music teacher was one of the guest teachers for the class, and he said, well, you know, if you look at any country, if it's all drums, it's a country making ready or involved in war, march music. If it's all really melodic, not so much. So I mean, I'm kind of looking at, you know, the hip hop thing is great. I think there's a lot of great things in it. I think it's an art form, not my art form, but I think it's an art form for a lot of people. But there is a certain factor of just rhythm only, and it just seems a little marchy to me. Mm-hmm. And that's always a little bit scary for me. You know, we're you know, we haven't hit the wrong. You know, we haven't hit this. Let's put it this way: it's going to get worse before it gets better.
I believe
the way things are going.
The way, I mean, yeah. And we just got to remember we're human. At the end of the day, just remember who we are.
And remember we're human. We're human, and smoke dope and play guitar. All right. Not really, you know. I've got much more going on in my brain than just that. Thank you very much. But you know,
what is your favorite piece of art? It doesn't have to be music that you've ever created, that you look at or you listen to, and you're like, I love this.
As a song, you mean, as in music?
Anything, any piece of art you have created. It could be just a rhythm. Well, it can just be a piece of guitar. It can be.
Well, I've written some really, I think, really good lyrics for different songs. There's a song I wrote I think it was right around the time Desert Storm was happening. I went, and this was kind of right on the heels of the wall came down. You know, it looked like the world, you know, the Cold War was supposedly over. And I was, for about a month, I was going, whew, wow, cool. Suddenly, boom, here we are. We're back in it. We're doing it again. And I kind of wrote this thing, and you know, a lot of it was about Saddam Hussein or whatever. And I just kind of used him. And I wrote just a little piece on guitar called Light Up the Candles. And, you know, and the lyrics in it were in a little way kind of snide. Like, okay, everybody, let's burn all the books. Let's do, you know, let's plaster this guy's picture all over town. Let's burn some flags. Let's make the evening news. Let's do this. Let's do that. And the way I put it together was light up the candles, you know, put down your guns. You know, life is worth more than this, you know. And somehow it ended up being a really cool song. And it's always been one of my favorites that I've written over the years. I've written way too many songs. To this day, I got to put, if I'm performing live, I got to put lyrics in front of me, because I've written 3,000 or 4,000 songs, and which one is this? I'm playing live. I'm going to do 12 to 15 songs. Which 12 of the 3,000 songs am I going to play?
Are you using a netbook or something? An iPad?
Pardon me?
Are you using an iPad or?
Well, I'm kind of old fashioned. I just got a songbook, put it on a stand and read it. iPads, you know, my iPad's too small, you know. I need that old guy font. Big like that. But I think this next round, I mean, when I get back out again, I'm going to get a bigger iPad and one of those little stands. I mean, it's amazing. You see bands now, and everybody's got an iPad in front of them.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
You know, and the little thing that you can see guys playing horns and then kind of reaching over to the corner of the iPad just to go to the next page, you know. And some people have a little foot switch that'll take it to the next page. So that'll probably be my next move. I mean, I don't really, you know, where I'm coming from musically, it really didn't have a lot to do with you know, with all the technology, and like keeping up with the Joneses technologically isn't a very smart move for me. It just doesn't work that well. I don't even have in my studio. I don't even have a console. I just have the the mixing thing on the screen, and that's pretty much it. I try to keep it as simple as I can, and try to, if I'm writing, I try to stay away from the machines, other than the cell phone recorder, so I can, write what I'm writing, so I can, when I get to the machines, I can remember how it goes. And that's, I always said before, there's two kinds of recording. There's a cassette machine to piano when you write it, and there's masters. Everything between is just masturbation. You make a demo and then you try to do it on a master. You never get the feel of the demo. That's why I started getting into recording. I bought a 24-track machine and a board, and built a couple studios over the years, because I didn't want to spend a lot of time making cheap demos that have to re-record and lose the feel that I got on the demo.
Yeah. I know what that's like.
Sometimes the first time it goes to tape is the time that it should go to tape,
Because that's it right there, it happens.
But a lot of producers for a while would get a demo from a lot of producers get a demo from and that might be a good move as a producer, not a good move as an arranger, but that's another story, I guess. I just like it to be, for everything to feel kind of new, even if it's been sitting on your Pro Tools screen for a while. If it was new when you put it there, it's going to stay new. It's going to stay feeling new. Producer Mike Stewart, who produced the first couple of Billy Joel albums, he said something really great one time. He says, the first thing that goes to tape is who you are and how you feel.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then after that, time, intonation, enunciation, all the things that we all learned in school. But what goes to tape first is who you are and how you feel. That's why I think a lot of the newer records have been processed so much that they processed how you feel right off of the record. So you end up with a beautiful thing, and it's all perfectly in tune and everything's all right there, but you don't feel anything. And my job as a singer is to touch. As a writer is to touch people somehow. If 9 people go, I don't like it, and the 10th person says, wow, I felt that, and then you talk. Think about how it felt the first time you heard Hendrix. Oh my God, you could feel it. Stevie Ray Vaughan, you could feel it.
You tingle too with those two guys.
Revolver, and you can feel every song on there. Needless to say, Sgt. Pepper's got, you really had a feel of who these people were.
Not so
or at least to who these people wanted you to think who they were. Whoever did it well, let's put it that way, And that to me is one of the, you listen, you look at the Sgt. Pepper record, it would have not been as good if it was sequenced any different than it was. Who would have thought to put Ringo Starr singing on the second song?
Yeah.
But it worked like a charm, going into Try with a Little Help from My Friends. It just worked like a charm. And then all the rest of the songs on there, each song led into the next song just so beautifully. And the sequencing that in itself was an art form without even listening to the music. It was beautiful. And I've always thought that's one of the things that I like about albums, even though people kind of don't dig albums anymore. If an album's really sequenced right, if the music's really good, if you can feel what's being said and sung, and the music's really good, and it's sequenced together, that is an album you're going to play over and over and over again.
And that was the key, when I was growing up, when I had an album, is what would keep me. There were so many albums when I was in my day, when I was growing up, there was all killer, no filler. And now it's just everyone is putting out singles. Oh, this is just a single. Like, there's not real albums anymore. Maybe 6 songs or
EPs, a lot of EPs.
Yeah, you don't have. There's no like, all right, I'm gonna put the CD on in my room, and I'm gonna do my homework, or I'm gonna just lay on my bed, or I'm just gonna smoke some pot and play guitar to a song or an album.
Yeah. Like
life is going to fast now.
Get in and play the Def Leppard parts that are so great. You know what I mean? I'm going to learn these. It's the thing another thing that gets me is kind of weird these days is everybody listens alone. Everybody puts on their either their buds or their cans, and they're listening to it. Say, I got a new album, I'm going to listen to it myself. I kind of miss the days where, say, for instance, you get the couple of guys, couple of young guys. Hey, let's hear the new Toto album, and both of them, hitting each other in the shoulder, going, God, listen to what Precaro did right there. Holy shit, what was that? Let me pick up the thing and go, I got to hear that again, And I think a lot of people don't listen to music together anymore. You don't see stereos in people's houses the way we used to.
Yeah. Because when I was younger, my family had in the living room, we had a stereo. And not necessarily, but after school, me and my friends would come over on half days and smoke weed in my dad's house. And we would like, oh, we have the new Rob Zombie album. Let's put it on. Let's see what it is.
Exactly. My mom had I had to say it was hi-fi. It was before stereo was happening, but she had a big Jensen speaker and a Marantz, amplifier for it. And, put on Lou Rawls or Ray Charles or something and crank it and keep it cranked until the neighbors started getting pissed off. I think that's one of the reasons why people are listening in headphones anymore, is that they don't want to get sound complaints.
Yeah.
So, which I can understand, but man, there's just something about cranking your stereo and just feeling about, making lunch, having a coffee, whatever it is, and just listening to it. It's amazing.
Have a vibe.
Hey, I've just noticed we watch a lot of TV. Everybody watches a lot of TV, but I've got, I think, DirecTV, and I just started noticing the music channels.
Oh, yeah.
So I just rediscovered Tchaikovsky and Beethoven. So, whoa, these guys, talk about rock stars. Those guys were amazing. I mean, how much orchestration. I mean, when I was a kid, I listened to it a lot. I was a big Stravinsky fan. And if you got that as a basis, I mean, David Foster is one of my favorite piano players and producers and songwriters and arrangers. I mean, he was way into classical at some point, and a lot of the moves that he makes are pretty much straight lifted from stuff that Tchaikovsky and Beethoven and some of the earlier writers. I mean, we don't have a lot of those guys around anymore. John Williams is one. Mm-hmm. He's still one of the better conductors, composers. And I just found out at some point in the game, I went, well, I hear rock all the time. I record rock all the time. And it's all going on, but occasionally I just try to listen to how these guys orchestrate all this stuff. And it really makes it easier to record myself. I said, this hard guitar, this is going to take the place of, this is going to serve the purpose of what cellos and trombones do in an orchestra. But the boom, 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 those kind of things. It just, that's like the first time I heard Jimi Hendrix, "Hey Joe," and he did that boom, 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 a guitar and bass double. I was just almost ran my car into a ditch. I was going, that's cool. And you listen to some Stravinsky stuff, and you realize that was all going on. They would do bass viol, cello, and maybe trombone or baritone horn are all doing these lines together, and I'm just going, well, that's powerful. That really makes things get up and shout, Just I'm still learning. I'm learning from the same people I was learning from before. I just stopped listening for a long time.
That's awesome. I like that. I'm going to use that one.
Yeah. I mean, things, there have been so many changes in music. I remember when, what was it, New Wave came on. And, they're all using the same 12 notes. There's just an attitude. I think it's more of an attitude. New Wave, and then all the dub step and all this other different things. And, oh, this is brand new. You're going to love this. All this other stuff. Forget all the other stuff. This is new. Let me see. How new is it? It's using the same 12 notes. Or it's using the same, 4/4 time, and using the same snare drum on 2 and 4. There's a lot of things that are just, that remain the same no matter how much things change, And, I kind of like to listen to stuff that's still so great, and there's still so much to learn from. I've even been thinking about taking a music appreciation class, just for the heck of it. Just why not? You know what I mean?
Music's so
You
beautiful.
learn so much about form, and I think form is really one of the things that I mean, it's I'm always very aware of it. And what's the form of the song? How does it go? How do we get from point A to point B? You know, and those, and all the form is sort of like writing an outline when you're writing a novel. This is what's going to happen here. This is what's going to happen here, and this is what's going to happen here, and that's what the form is all about. And that chorus is, this is what you're selling more than anything else. You're just trying to get to it. That's writers speak. Songwriters speak.
I only have one thing I want to retouch on. When you were talking about your son and how you wrote a song about him that wasn't all rainbows and daisies.
Yeah.
Was that hard for you to make that decision?
I usually write a song in one sitting, maybe two.
Mm-hmm.
This took 2 years.
Well,
you know, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, very aggressive prostate cancer, on Monday, and he died of esophageal cancer on Tuesday. I was on the phone with him for an hour and a half on Monday night. He says, "I'll be there to every one of your chemos or any of your doctor's appointments. I'm going to be there with you," because I was with him for 2.5 years. We became really good friends over that period of time. Before that, I mean, we're talking drugs. You know, he had a, you know, I'm not going to say, hey, he was an angel. He didn't do anything. Yeah, no, he wasn't. He could spin a story in, and just, he was anybody who's along the line, not a junkie. He wasn't a heroin junkie, but he took a lot of pills. He was a real pill freak. And I didn't even talk to him for years until I got a call. He said, "Well, I got this cancer." So I said, "Oh, okay, now we're talking business. We'll leave all this other shit behind." And we became really, really pretty damn good friends over a period of a couple of years while he was dealing with that. Esophageal cancer is no day at the beach. That one's ugly. You drink one hit of water and it hits that tumor, and it's just, pain is just through the roof. So it's a weird thing. You know, it's just hard to make it through. And he did 2.5 years. And so, you know, when I wrote the song about it at the end, you know, when he finally died, I just said, I'd give anything to hear another lie. And then Tamara heard me say that. I just happened to say, man, I you know, if I could bring him back and have him here, and he could tell me anything he wanted to, and I just want to hear his voice. I don't care what he says, you know. And that's sort of the song. The song's called "Another Lie." It's really a deep song, but it's still regular piece. You know, I mean, it's a regular tune. It's got a really nice piano intro on it, and it's sort of how I put the song together. You know. I'm the arranger that I am, and I've got the style that I do, so I kind of did it that way because that's all I really know how to do. But the song itself is saying a whole lot.
That's a fucking beautiful.
It was an ugly week, let me tell you. Get diagnosed and lose somebody. Let you know, cancer really is a drag. It's just it'll it's the great equalizer. You know what I mean?
I had a buddy pass away 4 years ago, 2016, from esophageal cancer as well.
Yeah.
They gave
same year Brad died.
Oh,
I think it was 15 or 16. I can't remember.
15 or 16 for me too. I really don't. But
yeah, it's one or the other. That and melanoma and pancreatic all seem to be the big the fast guns in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? The real nasty ones.
That's when you told me.
It could be leukemia. They really kind of got on top of that one.
When you said I would do anything for one more lie, I mean, I really got choked up. Like, that is.
Yeah, Another Lie is the name of the song.
Beautiful.
But you know, if you don't know the story and you hear the song, it's still a cool song. You know. But if you know the story, you go, oh, this is nailed, you know. And like I say, it took a long time. I didn't really want to write that. I didn't really want to talk about it anymore. I mean, it just hurt so bad. But then I finally went, you know, I'm doing I gotta be honest. I gotta do what I gotta do. You know, and like I was saying earlier, if it's not personal, it's not art.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's, you know, how I put stuff together a lot of times just the craft. You know, I know how to, you know, get the drum, make sure the snares are hitting here, and make sure that this is hitting there. You know, and all that just arrangement, kind of basic arrangement stuff. You know, that I've been around for so many years. I'm going for it. So, but the writing itself, I think on this album is really kind of deep. It's a little deeper stuff than I normally do.
I'm definitely gonna, I don't have your album, the new album, but what I am gonna do is, I want to hear that song so bad. So once it comes out, man, I'm full guns ablazing with it. I just want to say thank you so much.
Well, thank you, man. It's really good talking to you. You're a really soulful bro.
I
And I'll throw a rock when I'm driving through Ventura and hit your front window. You go, Champlin. He said he would. He just did it.
I've interviewed a bunch of people in my time, and this is you're the only person that my mother-in-law has been impressed with. You are you are her favorite. Her favorite band is Chicago, and her favorite lineup is with you in it. And she wanted me to say hello. So,
well, tell her hello for me.
I will.
You know, it was 28 years of 12 songs. Not really, it was a lot more than that. But you know, there were really good moments in that scene. I had a good time a lot of the time. And toward the end, it just wasn't fun anymore. And I think a lot of it's just if you're just out on the road all the time, it just drives you crazy after a while. It will make you nuts. You know.
I was in the service, man. I know. I've been away.
There you go. Tamara grew up in a lot of different places. Her dad was in the oil business. So, I mean, she was born in St. Louis, lived in Arkansas, lived in Chicago, and then moved to Houston, outside of Houston. And she said, I'm kind of like an Army brat without the Army, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She was, you know, so she's one of those people who's been around a lot. You know, just making some friends, we're moving. You know.
I know that feeling.
A whole other world. I did a little moving when I was a kid, but not that much. You know, a few things.
Well, Bill Champlin, I am so gracious and so appreciative of this moment that I'm able to spend with you.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun. And just remember, the album's called "Living for Love," and it's really worth checking out. I mean, it's different. I mean, I've made a lot of records. And this is one I'm really working to try to get people to hear. I think it's worth checking out.
It definitely is. And we are going to I'm gonna actually make an ad for the album, and I'm gonna I'm gonna put on the back face of the magazine just the ad for your album, and then we're gonna do a 2-page write-up on it.
You know, if you go online to BillChamplin.com, the cover is there, and we our favorite artist is this artist named Vladimir Kush, and we were in a couple of months ago. Tamara and I were in Vegas for some reason, and we walked by his gallery, which is closed, but we were looking. And Tamara said, "Look at that," and there was a picture, beautiful light blue picture with keyboard in the bottom. And these doves flying into these beautiful clouds. And Vladimir Kush is just an amazing artist. He's got a little bit of Dali going on, but he's just a soulful dude, right? And the guy that was, you know, they hadn't actually left the building, so he opened the door and let us come in and look at it. And we talked to him, and Tamara worked it out to license that picture for the front album cover. Mm. So if you can go into BillChamplin.com. And you can find that cover, just sort of download it somehow and use that. I mean, because it's got my name and the album title.
I will 100%.
It's really beautiful. I mean, you love it.
I'll check it out. Champlin, thank you so much.
Yeah, cool.
Take care.
Great, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, that's right. Well, like I say, that'll be when I'm throwing rocks at your house on the way up to Santa Barbara, on the way up to Knapp's Castle and Coldwater Springs.
All right, buddy. Take care of yourself.
All right. Cool talking to you. See you soon.
See ya.